here's a quick overview of what I do in my warm-up every single morning. I always start with cardio. That is so important to warm up your muscles before you do any stretching or exercises. It can be anything. I usually do about the length of 2 songs. I start out with around 6 laps in the studio. A little bit of skipping. 50 jumping jacks, 50 high knees, 50 butt kicks, and then about 40 just sautés in parallel. And like really using your feet because you really want to warm them up and wake them up. But for your cardio, it can be anything. Then after, I always do arm circles and like arm swings, anything to just like open the shoulder blades up. And then I go into isolations. A little weird, but I find it so important because in ballet, your upper body has to be completely separate from your lower body. So you have to be able to make that disconnection, and the only way is if you create space in there. So I always do like rib isolations first and circles, then I do hips as well, and then I also do twists of the spine. I do a lot of that in my warm-up. Then I get my band. I always start out like holding it like this and putting tension while pushing my shoulder blades down. And then I do side bends. So it teaches you to create the space here while opening and bending. And most people use for their feet. I do not use for my feet at all because that is a wrong way to build the muscles of your feet. If you think about it, you're training your foot just to use a TheraBand. You're not actually training it to work in ballet class. So therefore, you're just going to be a master at using a TheraBand and that's it. And then you'll also build up a lot of tension and weird things in your foot that you do not need. Pull, and then they push back like this 1,000 times. I never really understood the purpose of it, but then once I started trying it, I saw that it really opened up the pecs here and then the shoulder blades in the back as well. And then I do some like twists of the torso while holding resistance in the band. You don't want anything too tough, but not anything too weak. So I would say medium strength is the best. Then I do downward dog. I do that every day, at least like 4 times a day. I love it. It's my favorite position because it really, I don't know, it takes the pressure off your legs while also pushing and opening the back a bit. And then I bring the legs up and I open my hips for the first time in the whole day. Then I do grand plie squat. It's like a squat, but in turnout and grand plie. And I do it to activate the turnout muscles, so I really focus on the muscles here and like engaging them as I do the grand plies. And then I always like rise on my feet and then sit on them so it can open up the arches a bit. And then I lie down and I do my abdominal exercises. I find the core is so important for ballet. And I'm against any traditional crunches because it's not actually engaging the right abdominal muscles. The thing is, the superficial abdominals, the six-pack, is not your core. Your core is something within that I had this one teacher tell me that the only way you know engaging it is if you feel like you're holding in your pee. That is the best way I can even describe. Open up and then fold over and go back down. And I do about 10 of these with arms and then 10 without, so then I know that I'm just focusing on this as I'm rolling up and down. I roll down slowly and then I do these things called, I think they're called the 100s, or when you breathe and you just like sit in the position and you breathe like this in a contracted position, like. Then I also do it like holding my hands here. And then I do slow roll down and roll ups. Then I do my plank. Back down and I do these pelvic curls. I think that's what they're called a lot. It's done in Pilates a lot. I've gotten it from this physio online called Lisa Howell. A lot of my exercises are from her. Basically, I'll write down under the link all the articles or videos or whatever I use to get my exercises, so you can see maybe more visually or understand which muscles to actually engage. But I find these like pelvic curls so beneficial for the actual core, not just like the superficial abdominals, but it teaches you where you engage. It took me a long time to even understand and practicing, and when I first did them, I did them very slowly. Like that's what I recommend you do when you start, is you do it slowly so you can understand. Once you get, used to it, then you'll be doing it every day, like really quickly, as though it's part of your day. Then I try to work on turnout while engaging this. So I keep the contracted pelvic curl, and then I drop one knee, then drop the other knee. Then after I do a couple, I drop both knees, and then bring it up, both knees, and then bring it up. The twists. So I'll bring the knees down on one side, and then instead of just bringing the legs up, you want to think of bringing the torso first up, so you actually use the core. We'll bring the torso first. I find this really engages my the spinal part of the core. Like you'll feel it really deep. bridges, the ones to engage your hamstrings. And once I engage that, then I go into my back work. Back bridges against the benches in the studio. And I use the bench because I like to press my body up against the bench so that I learn that my chest is forward and I'm not just relying on my arms. I bring my chest forward and my arms back. And then I do like slowly roll ups and roll downs. Then I will do this thing that's like in frog position. Want to think about initiating from the knees and not the feet, and also relaxing the shoulders. I know I tend, when I do things with my legs while I'm lying on my stomach, I tense the shoulders, but you want to really like relax them and focus really on what you're doing. Then I will go finally into stretching. And all my stretching, if you see, they're not static stretches. Start out like in parallel fourth position, and then bending the back foot, and then doing like kicks to open up the hips a little bit. Then I will lunge, grab the foot, open up the knee a bit, then go into splits, grab the back foot, go into pigeon, move the hips a bit, then again, spinal twist, turnout, again, turnout, and then classic twist again, and then I do this stretch. It's a stretch, but it's an exercise at the same time to show your true turnout. And I also read this in one of the dance physio anatomy blogs. What you do is you want to have your knees completely at a 90-degree angle, and make sure that your heel is on top of your knee and not here, because then you can cheat. You always want to put the the ankle bone over the knee. And then you push the top knee down on the other one. Then I will do over splits on my, again, static stretching is not the best to do as part of your warm-up. I always do like my over splits on the couches or stuff after classes. That's when I do my massaging and my stretching, but before class I do not do anything too intense. Then I will do the over splits, of course, a little bit in the middle, and then I switch other sides so that I have the front leg becoming my back leg as I'm on the yoga block. And I never used to do this before until I came here, but I realized the importance of it is that's really your arabesque, because the arabesque is not only from the lower back, that's what some people mistake, but it's also from the hip. And you need to be able to open up here. I know I used to be actually very tight in there, and I thought that it was my back, but it was the fact that I couldn't bring my leg up past 90 degrees in this hip crease here because it was very tight. And doing the over splits with the back leg really opened that up for me. I will get my gainer band, this one, and I do middles again, but I do not sit in them. So I do side port bras, and then I go into splits. So like I go into left split and then into right, and it's really like an opener in the hip socket to just do that, because it's so important in ballet that you have your hip sockets open in order to turn out. Then I will do some turnout exercise with the band so that it really opens up the heels. So I will like do tendus, of course flexed heels, and then like battus, and then I will do plies. I find this really helps because plies are the hardest position to keep your knees completely out, and I find the band really helps me direct the knees in between. So that I know exactly where my knees are going. I also, what I used to do, but I really recommend, is floor bar. We do it in gymnastics twice a week, so I don't really put too much of it in my warm-up or my conditioning throughout the day, because it actually uses a lot of energy and muscle strength. But I find it so beneficial. So if you want to look into it, I would definitely recommend look online into floor bar, because if you can do floor bar like perfect, bar should be a breeze. Then after I do that, then I do my feet. And in the video you will see I start out with mobilizing the feet. It's so important that you open up all the joints. Like, I used to have really bad feet and I'm still working on them, but I always just did like TheraBand exercises or rises. All I did was muscle strength, but I never understood how to actually open up the feet so that they can actually have that nice pointed line, the nice arch that everyone wants. So I start out by pulling each of the toes out. You never want to crunch them. You always want to open the joints. So you pull them out, and then once I get to the big toe, I pull it out, and then I do circles. That's really helpful for the bunion. I used to have big bunion issues, but ever since I started doing this, like opening it and then doing circles, and I also do bunion push-ups, are the one where you move the big toe sideways. Ever since I started doing that, no bunion pain. So, and also not rolling the feet in when dancing. That is a big issue for bunions. And then I do like some other joint mobilization and rolling, and then I do ankle circles. It's really good to do that to open up your feet and get them warmed up and working. And then I massage the feet. I always use first a tennis ball, and then I plie on the tennis ball so that it stretches the Achilles and the calf. I find that I've been doing it every day, and it has really deepened my plie, so it really works. And then I also use the foot roller and then a small ball where I put it in all the tense parts in my arch. I have a lot of like kinks sometimes and crunches, so if you sit your foot on that exact thing, it's really good so that it can just relax, because you don't want any like kinks or pain in your actual arch of the foot. Then I stretch my foot on a yoga block, and I always make sure that when I sit on my heel, that the heel is forward and that I'm stretching this area of the foot, not this area. You always want this area towards the, I don't even know what it's called. I searched it up, but it's from the ankle bone down here. That's where you always want to stretch, not here. That's why I don't agree with foot stretchers either. foot stretchers teach you to stretch the wrong part of your foot. So I always find that actually manually stretching your own feet with your hands or with the yoga block is the best way to do it. And then after that, I will just go to the bar and do either some rises to warm up the calves, or I'll just do some extension stretching. But other than that, that's basically it. I will try to put more in details in the description, as well as throughout the video, of how I do the exercises and where I found them and stuff, and why it's so beneficial. And then I will also do a separate video of my stretching routine at night. So I hope you enjoyed, and please like, subscribe, share, whatever it is you do. And thank you.